All right, my friends, welcome back. Aaron here bringing you some honest astrology. Today is the 4th of April, 2024. The moon is in the sign of Aquarius. The sun is in the sign of Aries, conjunct the North Node, and we are getting ready here this Thursday for this full or new moon solar eclipse happening on Monday, the 8th of April, 2024. So yesterday I put out a kind of a longer, 39-minute long video talking about the astrology, right? And I want to follow the moon each day leading up to this. So yesterday was in Aquarius, today's in Aquarius, and then tomorrow and the next day it'll be in Pisces, and we're going to talk about some different elements of what the moon is suggesting as it's hitting these different signs leading up to this eclipse. Now today I'll show you the chart. The sun is actually conjunct right here. Sun and the North Node are in the exact same space. By the end of the day, the sun will pass through that space that occupies the ecliptic, right? The North Node. So everything here that if you followed me yesterday, okay, everything in this chart is about you. It's about you having the relationship with yourself that is necessary for you to succeed on this planet. Okay, this is just making sure that you are safely secure and deeply rooted and firmly understand who you are. That also is putting everything in our laps as individuals. It's telling us and really kind of forcing us to look into the mirror, to sit with our shadow, to find our own light, to look in the mirror, to see our reflection, and maybe we might see ourselves in a different light. Maybe we're going to see ourselves in a different way. And especially when we're taking the responsibility and accountability that is absolutely necessary. Okay, this eclipse has a lot to do with accountability, and just that. I mean, it wants us to make sure that we understand that we're co-creators in this experience called life. Okay, and with the moon traveling through Aquarius today, Aquarius is about the community, it's about the collective. Now we are in the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is the age of technology, it's the age of knowledge. The age of Pisces and previous, this was the dark ages. It was considered the dark ages according to astrologers, okay? The information is out there right now, just like I'm doing, sharing with you. If you're watching this on Instagram, if you're watching this on YouTube, or whichever platform this may end up on, or however you've come to find it, we have technology right now. So this isn't like I've put out the calling like, hey friends, gather around at exactly 12:08, 12:07, Aaron's going to be doing an astrology talk. And you have to be at this exact space, at this exact location, at this exact time for this message to reach the community, right? We're in the age of Aquarius now, where we use technology just like this to advance ourselves. And technology is a tool. However, technological advancements certainly hurt humanity in certain ways, okay? There's a lot of ways that technology helps advance us. There's a lot of ways that it holds us back and dumbs us down, right? Before the calculator, we were doing these very long calculations in our mind, or had to write them out on paper. And now they're a lot easier to just type into a calculator or type into your phone without even knowing PEMDAS, without knowing the proper, rules of mathematics, or, subtracting and adding. And we don't necessarily need to know all of those details anymore, and we just rely on the technology, okay? So there's pros and cons to technology. Now, one of the aspects of this technology where it's dumbing us down, and with the elements of this eclipse coming up, again, putting yourself in the seat, it's saying don't pride yourself on your ignorance. Okay, this is really important. Don't pride yourself on, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I just look at, nothing wrong with looking stuff up. There's nothing wrong with not, having an encyclopedia for a brain and knowing every single thing. But at the same time, it's saying you are capable and able to learn something, so do it. There's no reason to not learn something. There's no reason to not seek out knowledge. Again, Aquarius age, Pluto in Aquarius right now, it's about transforming of that knowledge, transforming our minds, and transforming the community. So another element of this community, we have seen since the pandemic here, this COVID-19, 20, people have isolated. People have closed off, right? This stand with 6 feet apart kind of rules, where our heart is an electromagnetic field that is coming up and around us. You can find all kinds of information about this online, but you can see a literal physical aura emitting from somebody. And of course, that's approximately the energetic density expands depending on the person's personal vibration, will expand up to about 6 feet, right? So when we like separate each other, when we're standing outside of each other's, this is like a hug, you know, even if when we're close in proximity to people, we're sharing energy, and this is a positive thing. Right? When we're isolated by ourselves and are alone, we get much more in our minds. Mercury retrograde right now. We get much more in our minds. And just like we were talking about yesterday, it's a lot easier, especially if we're not communicating with the other, to create and assess an idea of what they think they're thinking about us. So we're creating these false narratives, you know, these false ideas of what other people think, or how they're going to treat us, or how they're going to respond to us. And we're creating these preconceived notions of the other before we have the opportunity to have that interaction with the other, okay? So this is, again, taking responsibility for ourselves and saying, I am creating this illusion. I'm creating this fantasy in my mind. I'm creating this nightmare in my mind of how my day is going to go when I talk to my boss, or how this meeting is going to go when I talk to the client, or how this interaction is going to go when I talk to this person. You know, so a lot of times, and this deals with us and the other, because the South Node is in Libra, which is all about our relationships with the other, the outside. And the North Node, Sun, Moon conjunct together in Aries, this is about a relationship with ourself. Okay, so our relationship with self, others, and especially right now with community. I'm going to come back to the chart here. Community, Moon in Aquarius, and that's creating a little bit of a sextile over here to Chiron today. It already passed the Moon and the Node. Another element of the community, okay, community at large. We're going to talk about insecurities right now. This is a very, very big deal. Okay, because our insecurities come out in different ways. Our insecurities, everybody has insecurities, and they're not attractive. Okay, now I'm not going to sit here and beat up anybody for their insecurities. I have my own insecurities. We all have insecurities, and we have our inner support group. Okay, this could be your family, your mom, your dad. This could be potentially your best girlfriends, or your best mates, your best dudes, your guy friends. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be open. It's okay to break down, right, in front of people. We don't always have to be strong, because that's a facade. We don't always have to be this show on. You know what I'm saying? So having our close people that we can be vulnerable with and break down a little bit is extremely important, because those other people are going to be the mirror and remind you that you're strong. They're going to remind you that you're worthy. They're going to remind you that you're beautiful, or you're handsome, or that you're lovable, or that maybe you did something that you're not proud of, but you're still a loving, caring person, right? So then you're going to have these inner support people that are going to help build you back up and boost your confidence, okay? But that confidence has to come from within. We have to be able, we can't always rely on the external to boost our self-esteem, to boost our confidence, to tell us that we're good enough, smart enough, attractive enough, healthy enough, whatever it may be, right? There's a bit of a balance. That's what this is all about, balance between self and others, okay? The world wants you strong. This eclipse wants you strong. This eclipse wants you to know that you can handle it, that you can, what you can't handle, you're going to learn. That you have the ability to learn, that we're creating our own hurdles. We're creating our own obstacles in life. We're creating our own challenges by the things that we love, want, and desire. We automatically create these obstacles, hurdles, challenges, things to overcome that are going to be, along the path. So it's an inevitability. So when we have that support group, and if we're leaning too much on that support group, there's going to be a point in time where they're tired of carrying your weight. So this is where our insecurities, it's just like, oh, and thank you, you picked me up last time, so I'm going to rely on you to pick me up again and pick me up again and pick me up again. And that can only sustain for so long, right? When we're looking at this energy, we're looking at sustainability. I have to rely on myself for a certain amount of sustainability. I have to be able to rely on myself. If I need something, there's the community outside, but I have to, it's like the world's just not going to bring me water, not going to bring me food, not going to bring me something. Like, I have to go out and grab it, and thankfully there are artisans that have created, these delicious foods or purified this water over here or whatever, you know what I mean? So when I interject myself out into society, I can trust and rely on society. And just the same, society needs to rely on me. So this is another element of where our insecurities are not only unattractive, but they're hurting us when it comes to society. Because we need to be the best at what we're doing. Now, that doesn't mean I have to have the best whatever, right? I make a Cobb salad. It doesn't mean my Cobb salad has to be better tasting than the person's over there. This is where our insecurities kind of come in when we're comparing ourselves with others, right? So it's like, okay, I play chess, but I'm not as good as this person. And I could be like, oh my God, I just want to throw it up and, throw my hands up, not purge. I just want to throw my hands up and quit because I'll never be as good as, Bobby Fischer. It's like, well, that doesn't matter. Do you enjoy playing chess? Yes. Then find a chess player, a chess mate, a person that's in your field, in your same competitive area of skill level, right? If we're playing against these, the great thing about having these individuals that are so good is they amp us up, they amplify us and say, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could take down somebody in 4 moves like that. I didn't realize I want to learn how they're doing it. Okay. So this is like a beauty of when people are way better at what we love than we are at doing that thing, like at basketball players or car builders, or, absolutely anything. It could be anything in the world. Pick it, it doesn't have to be sports or anything, but we can compare ourselves to the other, and then we can really beat ourselves up and say, I'm not as good as that. I'm not as handsome as that. I don't have as much hair as that person. It's not as thick as that person's. My boobs aren't as big as hers. My whatever. We can compare ourselves to the outside world, and we can then internalize ourselves and start to really beat ourselves up. Right? And then we can say, well, I'm not as good as this. I don't look like this. I'm not as skilled as this. So why bother? Well, because you fill a hole, you fill a gap, you do. And it's like humanity, okay, this is all God experiencing God's self. So it's like are a piece of God experiencing God through you, through your eyes. And this is God exploring life, exploring humanity through your perception, through your lens, right? And we're all meeting God, expanding God. So all of us are divine. You are a divine individual, right? Experiencing divinity. Enthusiastically, hopefully. Enthusiasm, entheo. Entheo is God within. Entheogen, to generate God within. Enthusiasm is celebrating God within. Okay? That's what these words derive from. So we're celebrating. It's about celebrating ourselves. And it doesn't matter if we're the best at something. It matters that we love doing it. It matters the joy in our hearts about doing it. And now some things are simply tasks. Some things are simply tasks. It's like, if you've ever seen the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty, it's talking to the therapist at the end. It's like, some things are just tasks. It's like wiping your butt. It's not something that you're like, oh, I'm super enthusiastic about this. It's just simply a task that you have to do every single day, and not doing it is really lazy and inappropriate. So doing it is important, but it's not something that we're going to get super excited about doing. I guess the excitement part is you're not going to smell when you get out in the world, Anyway, it's a really strange example and analogy. Thank you for sticking around with me. All right. So what are other other areas where we're comparing ourselves to others, okay? And we're creating insecurities in our own minds and our own hearts and our bodies. Because it's about us getting excited about life. It's about us getting excited and passionate about things. So when we try to achieve something, okay, this is where other people, it gets really, really interesting right here. When we have a skill set, and I say, I want that job. I'm building up my mentality. I'm learning the skills that I need. I want that job. And what happens? Well, there's maybe thousands of people. You know, maybe there's a small amount. Maybe there's hundreds. Maybe there's thousands of people that also want that exact same job. Maybe you got it. Maybe you didn't. Okay. So let's say in this particular case, you didn't get that job that you wanted, that thing that you've been working very hard to achieve, that very hard to get. And it's okay. Okay, that doesn't mean to give up on the field, doesn't mean to give up on the career, doesn't mean to give up on the path. It means that that particular one wasn't the best for you. That wasn't the best fit. And sometimes we can put in our minds, humans, we can put in our minds, I'm so fixated and focused on this one thing. And that one thing is the only thing I want, that one thing. And once I get that one thing, that will bring me my internal peace, happiness, joy, whatever. And if I don't get that one thing, of course, joy, happiness, internal peace will not follow. And I will always be sad, depressed potentially, have anxiety of where I'm going to get my next thing, you know, my next job, if that was the job I want and I'm not available for the position, or they've hired or something, right? This can onset our insecurities. And I want to give up. I want to throw in the towel. What's something else? We can be rejected. You can go out and you can, find somebody that you really fancy. Maybe you're monogamous, maybe not. But if you find somebody that you really fancy and you say, that's the person I want to be with. That's a person I want to share my time with, my energy with, my life with. And what if they're not in the same alignment with you? They don't share the same feelings. I'm going to be really open and honest with you right now. I just opened myself to somebody at breakfast this morning before doing this video and was rejected. And that's okay. That's okay, right? Opening our hearts, being vulnerable is scary. It's really scary, especially when you want to share it with somebody, right? But that's okay to be rejected. And it's saying, hey, there's actually somebody that you find to be in a better alignment for yourself out there in the world. And that's going to ultimately put me in better alignment with somebody that it's an equal desire. So when we allow ourselves to be discouraged by rejection, by not getting the job, by not getting the partner, by not getting the whatever it may be, we can be very discouraged and think that we're not enough. Instead, what I'm encouraging us is to view it in a different way and say that this is okay. This is just putting me on, this is the train tracks going. It's like, yeah, we're not supposed to go in this direction. The train tracks got to move and you're supposed to go over here now, and allowing that veering to happen without allowing ourselves to deplete our confidence, without allowing ourselves to deplete our sense of security, our sense of joy, our sense of fulfillment. Right? Because when we don't like most people in life, have a desire, to be in the community. There's a desire for most people to be accepted among peers, right? To have some sort of a community, to have people along with you. And when we shut ourselves out of that, we're really closing off our heart. We're really closing off that electromagnetic field that our heart needs, that the non-physical hug, that our hearts so strongly desire. And then when we're coming out into that space, when we're in that space of community, to fully be ourselves, without the lens being back in ourselves, if I'm not good enough, if I'm not smart enough, or maybe I have to drink some booze. We're going to talk about this more when the moon moves into Pisces, about drugs, alcohol. But now I have to have some liquid courage or liquid confidence in order to be able to be myself around this person or around these people or out in the world. Okay. This is the mind. There's no universe without mind entering into it first, but there is sometimes so much of our own self-deluded, insecure thoughts. People are going to think I look stupid if I dance. It's like, you know what? Everybody else is thinking how stupid they look too. So just go be you. Just go have fun. Allow yourself, give yourself permission to be yourself. Give yourself permission to have fun. Give yourself permission to take care of yourself. You know? And because again, the world wants you healthy. The world wants you strong. So when we're at those moments of like weak and we're not super, secure with ourselves, that's totally okay. And just take the time for yourselves. It's like the balloon is depleted. Take the time that's appropriate to fill it back up and get back out there in the monkey bars, right? Because whatever you're doing, your medicine that you're sharing with the world, maybe you're a gardener, maybe you sell flowers, maybe you're an accountant, maybe whatever it is that you're doing, that you're supplying humanity with, right? Again, this is all God creating God's self to experiencing life in the physical. That's what every single human is doing here. We're all just fulfilling a destiny in a sense so that we can all experience life. And we need to be able to do that from a full cup. We need to be able to do that from security and going out there and being excited about who we are. Okay. So what makes us excited about who we are? Taking a moment for oneself and remembering, what do you love in this world? There's so much to love. If I listed all the things, we wouldn't have enough time. There's just so much to love about this life. I saw a picture of I saw a video. It was a video on Instagram of a gentleman the other day. That was a guy from India, I believe, and he had never been to the ocean. And he gave his phone to somebody, and he says, "Will you take a video?" And the guy's like, "Picture?" He's like, "No, video." And you can just see the guy. He's a grown man, 30s, 40s years old, but just playing like a child. Playing it like a child, so enthusiastic, right? So full of God within, so full of joy to just be in the ocean, to be submerged in this water. And it's just like sometimes we forget, sometimes we're jaded, right? Or sometimes because we had a falling out with an ex, or we got fired from a job, or something didn't work out, that we reserve these things. We hold off our heart, we close our heart off, or we don't want to give fully to the next job. We don't want to give fully because our boss could take advantage of us, and I'm not going to be taken advantage of again, so I'm not going to do all the good work that I did for the last one. Or I'm not going to do all those sweet things I did for my partner before because they didn't appreciate them. So now I'm going to withhold. It's like we're only hurting ourselves when we do that stuff. By withholding from ourselves, we're pinching our supply as well. It's like we're holding our breath. I'm not going to breathe fully today. I'm going to teach myself. I'm going to cut my oxygen off to my brain. I'm going to really teach myself, and I'm going to put myself in fight or flight mode, right? This is cause and effect. It's just a natural effect that's going to happen. So there's a natural effect that's going to happen as well when we start pinching ourselves off from people, when we start pinching off our skills, when we start pinching off our heart, when we start closing our heart, we start acting a lot differently. So all of this energy is to reconfirm who you are, remember who you are, remember why you came here, remember where you're going. Remember what you love in life. Remember who the F you are. Let them know, and to bring your fullness out into the world. Like, bring your weirdness too. So like, come back here for a second. Come back here with me. All right, so right, we're in the age of Aquarius. Pluto's just now in Aquarius. This is also our nervous system, friends. Our nervous system. So if there's like restless energy going on right now and anxiety, it's totally fine. That's totally normal. We're going to be feeling that for a little bit of a while. Why? Because the universe is asking us to create great change. And if you're in a place, here, I'm going to come back. If you're in a place of just like, I'm at ease, I'm at peace, you're not going to change anything. Us humans, we're so lazy. When we're content, we're not changing nothing. We're just gonna keep doing content as long as we can because it feels good. You know what I mean? So Uranus here, connected with Jupiter in Taurus. This is old ways of living, if you want to look at it like that. In evolutionary astrology, this can be like the old traditional ways of living and doing things. It's like, this is a whole new ball game. This isn't the same world our grandparents lived in. We have new consequences, new cause and effect, new opportunities with technology, new opportunities that just simply weren't around a long time ago. So therefore, the consequences of just day-to-day life is just very, very different. So there's a lot of pressure in changing the old, and changing tradition it's uncomfortable. It's just simply uncomfortable. So if you're feeling uncomfort, you're feeling uncertainty, that's okay. That's okay. It's just right now taking time, especially this day, remember who you are and what you provide to the community. What do you want to provide to the community? What is your job? If you want to leave your job, like, what do you want to do? What would satisfy your heart? If is it just more money, well, then you might find a job you really don't like that's just going to offer you more money, but it might suck your soul out of it as well. So it's just like, well, how can I be myself and add myself to the community? And then maybe it'll work out. Maybe it'll work out in the long run. Maybe it's not like short. I would love to be able to talk like astrology and just do astrology readings for people. It's like this. I've been doing this channel for 2016, 2017. I've been doing this channel for years, and it's like it hasn't blown up. I don't monetize off of this channel, but I still do it because I'm passionate about it. I love it. Maybe down the road, will this channel be successful for me? Maybe. But I will be honest too, like there was a moment in time a couple years ago when I had, well over the watch hours. I had over the subscriber amount to be able to monetize off of YouTube. I chose not to because I think it's awful. Sometimes I'm a bit long-winded in my speeches or my talkings, speeches. but to have like, hey, brought to you by Tide Pods, and like interrupting every few minutes was like, it's kind of annoying I'm trying to share something. So I purposely didn't monetize for a while. And then I decided, hey, I want to monetize the channel. I'm putting a lot of effort into this, so I want to be able to get some, if I could get a couple bucks back. And I could never do it. There was never a person. I tried to talk to YouTube for a long time. I could never do it. And I ended up like banging my head against the wall trying to figure this thing out, and I couldn't. And then now, like, there's enough time I don't do these every single day like I used to. So now I don't have the watched hours that I used to have, the 10,000 watched hours. I have the subscriber account and all that, but it's just like, oh man, there's a lot of grind to get back to that space again, to where at one point for me, I was just like, man, it's almost overwhelming to get back there again, to try to do that again. But what's also overwhelming is my love and passion for astrology. My love and passion to talk about it, not thinking that my ego is doing I'm not reaching 20,000 people. I'm not an influencer. Let's be honest. I'm just some guy talking about astrology, and you're who enjoy listening, and thank you for being a part of that. But I guess the thing is like giving up, or like it not having financial rewards. So then it's a dead end. And I think that's also something here. It's just like, well, this is something passionate about giving back to the community at large. And it's something that I love doing. And it's something that I feel I would be a little lost without astrology. There are times where I walk away from it and don't look at the chart for a week, and then it'll hit me. It's just like, what is going on today? And then I'll look at the chart. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, this is, it's Mercury retrograde. My communication is going to be bad, or the sun is this, or the moon. I try not to look at those things and have a preconceived notion of like negative outcomes, So it's not like giving astrology is the reason my life is bad right now, or astrology is the reason I'm feeling anxiety right now, or astrology is the reason, or the moon, I try not to do that. And I really encourage, you, my friends, to not be that way with astrology as well. Like it's all connected, it's like, oh, the reason that I'm feeling today is because my heart's beating. It's like, it's irrelevant. The heart's beating. I'm alive. The sun and the planets are moving, and that's just how it is. Anyway, I think this is enough out of me for today. We're going to talk tomorrow. It's going to be very different when the moon moves into Pisces. A lot more we're going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about addictions. Okay, tomorrow is going to be about addiction big time. So, my friends, if you're struggling with something tomorrow, we'll talk a little bit more and be in depth. So, hope you have a wonderful day. As always, I love you. I wish you enough, and we'll talk to you soon.